Hey, what is up, my fellow bro gamers? Mr. J through and through here from Bro Gaming Official, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Wreckasaurus Wreck Train Angara Avenger. Yes, I did just say the Wreckasaurus Wreck Train. I thought that was a very well-fitting name, and I thought it was kind of funny. It made me laugh earlier today. But on the title, it is the Stab Build Guide, because there is lots of stabbing involved with this build. So let's jump right into it, guys. I have the Angara Avenger 1. Yes, I have all of the customization options, simply because if you knew about it, there was a customization glitch pre-patch 1.05, where if you had a level X character, you could do any customization with any character you wanted, but patch 1.05 did fix that, sadly. So let's jump right into it, guys. On weapons, I'm going to be using the N7 Hurricane for any fast-paced build. That is my weapon of choice. This being a melee-focused build, N7 Hurricane all the way. I'm using the Melee Optimizer X as well as the Pistol Magazine 3. So definitely always using the Melee Optimizer for any melee build. And typically I'm going to be using magazine size with the Hurricane over damage, simply because the extra 19 or 20 shots at the level 3 mod is definitely really nice to have. So on equipment, Juggernaut Shield for sure. You know, the extra 75% melee damage is very nice, and the extra 10% shields is such a bonus. So also, you can use a shotgun with this build. Definitely play with it a little. I don't have any gameplay of using a shotgun, but I could see it being useful. But you don't want to use the pistol and the shotgun, because you will be dipping down in the negatives on your recharge speed. So you're going to have to pick one or the other, not both. You definitely want all of your recharge speed for this build to run as smoothly and as well as possible. So on consumables, you're going to be using the Cyclonic Shield mod and the Strength Enhancer. Definitely, those are the two you're going to want to pick up for this build. You want all of the melee damage that you can get, as well as any extra shields is very nice. Now, you can run ammo mods if you would like, but I would definitely say Strength Enhancer is a must, and Shield mod would probably be my second choice. So guys, let's jump into skills. On Sticky Grenade, I only have it into 2 points, simply because I don't have the extra skill points to use. It is definitely something really nice to have, but seeing as I only have the Angara Avenger 1, I don't have extra skill points to use. So it is something that is very helpful. Sticky Grenade is amazing, but I don't have the points to level it up any further. Now, Stealth Grid is a huge thing in this. Stealth Grid and Avenger Strike are the two main points of this build. So on Stealth Grid, you're going to go first 3, then top, top, and top. So on 4 for top, you're going to want the extra power cell capacity. Then you're going to want the duration. Now, the power cell, you want as many as you can, which with this, you're going to be able to have as many as you can. It is going to be 4 at cap, and it is really nice for being able to get around the map. You want duration because you're able to move more freely with the added time of being invisible. It really helps you move freely around the map. And then you want the movement speed on 6 for top. That movement speed, whenever you cloak the 30% extra movement speed, it is crazy. You will feel it instantly. It is really nice, and you're able to move freely throughout the map quickly to get in and out of situations, to do objectives, or revive teammates. That is why I chose that. Definitely my top choice for it, because 30%, it's quite a bit. And then with the duration, you know, you can easily move through any of the maps pretty fast in one Stealth Grid go. You could probably run a circle around, I don't know about any map, but probably most of the maps. So now let's move on to Avenger Strike. On Avenger Strike, you're going to go first 3, top, top, and then bottom. So on top, I went with the Bleeding Strike. Now, it is going to only be 200 damage over the 5 seconds or 4 seconds. So it's not a whole lot, but if you have an enemy that you just hit with Avenger Strike and they were low health, it'll definitely drop them down. Now, the recharge speed on Avenger Strike is 11 seconds. If you choose recharge speed bottom for 4, it will be 9 seconds. Definitely, those are two that you could play with or think what you would rather have. So either one of them would be great to have. Personally, I'll probably end up respecking and going back with recharge speed, simply because I think it is slightly better than the extra bleed damage for it, but really that is up to you. So on 5, go with the damage. Definitely go with the extra damage. Now, The debuff, it's nice, but it's not as good as having the extra damage, simply because this is a melee damage focused build. You definitely want that damage. Now on 6, top is good. It is good for the priming as well as stunning an enemy with extra damage. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the ability. Like in all my builds, if I say don't use this, I'm not saying it's a useless ability, I'm just saying it's not fitting for this build. So you're going to want Cloak and Dagger. For every kill you get with Avenger Strike, it's going to give you a stealth grid power cell. So every time, if you, let's say, if you don't have any stealth grids, and then you get a kill with Avenger Strike, you're going to have one stealth grid power cell. It will give you one. And it is so nice to have. If you end up running around the entire map using all of the ammo boxes, for some reason, I never had that issue whenever I was running around constantly, you'll be able to get them back without having to use your ammo supplies. So you should never have to really worry about running out of stealth grid. So on weapon training, I only had one skill to put in it. Power damage on rank 2. Power damage will not affect Avenger Strike. It will not give you any more damage on Avenger Strike since it is considered a melee ability, not a power. But it will help your sticky grenade. So if you're going to be speccing more into sticky grenade, if you have the extra points, you could do that for the extra sticky grenade damage. But don't do it if you're thinking it will give you more Avenger Strike damage, because it will not. I tested it and it didn't, sadly. If it did, then I would have, but it did not. So on bioelectric defense, you're going to go first 3, bottom, and then if you have the skill points later on down the road, go for bottom on 6. The ramping melee damage, very nice to have. Whenever I was playing with this, right whenever I hit level 20 before I was recording, and I used it, it was very, very nice to have. But once I figured out how I wanted to set the build up, I couldn't get it. So as soon as I have the skill points, that will be the next thing that I get, for sure. So on rank 4, I chose regeneration simply because now evasion is good, having the extra 15% movement speed and then 60 damage resistance while evading. That is very nice for survivability, but I chose the regen because I think it is a little better than evasion, simply because whenever I would cloak and run around the map, I saw that my health going up and then the regen delay. It was really nice having that because I never really had that much of a problem with being at low health, especially at higher rounds on gold, so it was really nice. So on rank 5, no contest, melee damage. This is a melee build, that's where you gotta go. And like I said, if you have the points, definitely go bottom on 6. The ramping melee damage will be very helpful, especially whenever you're trying to hit bigger targets. You just really have to be careful, you know, after they patched it on 1.05 that enemies will stagger you whenever they melee you. You really gotta be careful who you pick a fight with. But with that ability, it really helps, especially if you're one to run up and melee berserkers or anointed or anyone like that. Or whenever those sharpshooters get a little pissy at you and then they decide to punch you in the face, you can really deal with that accordingly at that point. But moving on, guys, it is a really fun build. It's really interesting. It plays a lot like a Vanguard. If you're a fan of Vanguard classes, you will love this character build guide. So definitely, guys, it is really fun, really interesting. Not like a lot of other things I've played. It was a nice change of pace from the other build guides that I've been doing, so I really enjoyed it whenever I was playing it. So guys, we're about to jump into some gameplay, and I'm going to show you why I named this the Wreckasaurus Wreck Train. Alright guys, so here we are with some gameplay, and like I said just before, it's really interesting and unique because instead of, really it's a Vanguard melee playstyle for this build. So if you really enjoyed my human Vanguard build guide, you will love this if you're a fan of that kind of playstyle. There's other ways you can build this character, and like I said, I can't remember if I said it in another video or if it was someone I was commenting on. I believe it was a comment I said on another video, but I am interested in doing some other alternative build guides on some of the more popular videos that we have. There is currently 4 or 5 build guides that I will probably be doing an alternate build guide on. If there is enough interest in that, I will do some of that. But getting back to this one, it is really interesting and unique because being a melee Vanguard build style play, it's a little bit different because you have the ability to go invisible and stealth around the map instead of always being in constant danger or in constant thick of the action. This is you're behind the action and getting in and dealing all that damage without the enemy even really knowing. Like, you're going to see in some of the gameplay where I'm just going to get behind everything and help my team out, and I'm going to not really be putting myself in as much danger as I would if I were playing my Vanguard. So that's really where the two differ. As well as this being a melee build, it does a little bit more damage for melee attacks, at least in my opinion, since the Avenger Strike does melee damage. It stacks off of melee damage. So if you're using all of your melee mods as well as using melee boosters on your consumables, you'll be doing tons of damage. As well as if you have the ramping melee damage off of bioelectric defense, it is just crazy. You will do so much damage with it, and it was really fun. I played around with all the different abilities, and with the skill points I have, this is how I built it, and I thought it was the best way for this kind of a play style, at least in my opinion. Definitely there's always other ways to do it, and I'm always interested to see down in the comments what you guys think about it and how you would build it. But I had a lot of fun and a lot of success doing it. There were a few times where I don't know what it is with stealth grid. It's weird. It's kind of, I guess it's just glitchy, because sometimes when you use it, you'll still be invisible, but it won't show you being invisible, and I don't understand why that is. It's kind of annoying, and I've seen sometimes whenever I use it on a teammate who's down, whenever they get up, they're invisible. They'll be invisible until they die, and it's just weird and kind of annoying. But I don't know what the deal with it is. But I've also seen sometimes where I'll go invisible, and I mean it doesn't do anything. I'm still getting shot at, and it'll get me down. So you got to really figure out good timing with it, I guess you could say, because whenever you're being shot at, you really need to know where you can go and get invisible and get out of the action so you don't go down. Because the Angara Avenger, while not being the tankiest character, it's not the squishiest either, but it's not something, she's not a character that can really sit there and take some damage. So you got to really play it really defensively in a way. So get in there, do your damage, get out, circle around the map, and come back. That's why I think this would be a really good character for soloing gold. I could definitely see it, and like I said, I would be really interested to do that if you guys would like to see me attempt it. Because of objectives, you know, this character, she can really do objectives very well because of stealth grid. That was the problem with my Vanguard. As well as I performed with the team, I could not nail gold with it simply because of how aggressive you have to play that character. You know, it was difficult. I had the most trouble whenever it came to objectives, simply because of getting them done and being out in the open. That was where the Vanguard had trouble soloing gold. But the Angara Avenger, she has all of the necessary abilities to solo gold perfectly. And I did try and use a sniper with her. You know, I can't say it was a great success, but it wasn't horrible. I definitely feel like the build would have to be rearranged a little to complement using a sniper, but it could work. I could see it, but not with how I have it set up now. I'm definitely going to try and solo gold with this build, particularly using the N7 Hurricane, how I have it set up now, and I may try and tweak it a little and try with the sniper, see which actually works, but I definitely think it can be done, especially if you have the skill and you pay attention and you get everything down and you get lucky with the objective waves. I definitely think it can be done. But moving back onto the build, really how I like to play it is, especially here on this Firebase 0, it worked great on pretty much every map I played it on. Another really, the most fun I had, but I wasn't recording when I played it, was Firebase Sandstorm. That map with all of the verticality and the rooftops that you can run, it is just a great solid map to use this build on. Definitely play Firebase Sandstorm with this build. You will love it. If you like the Angara Avenger and you enjoy this build, definitely play it on Firebase Sandstorm. That is probably the best map for it. Other than that, Firebase 0 is probably a really good one too, just because of the layout and how you can train enemies on it. It's just this build, you can't really train enemies whenever you have a team because of how the aggroing is going to work, but on soloing, you could definitely do it, and it would work out great. At least I would think it would, and I definitely want to find that out. But whenever you're with your team, whether they're camping in the corner, of a map, or if they're moving around, you always want to go the opposite way of them, or if they're camping, circle around the map, use stealth grid, get around the enemy, come in from behind, use Avenger Strike. They aren't going to be able to notice you because they're already dead. You will deal so much melee damage that you'll be able to take out a couple of them, and if you get into trouble, then you'll be able to use stealth grid again, get out, come back, and just do it all over again. It's a rinse and repeat cycle with this character, and she does massive damage. And I noticed that out of all the games I played while using this build, I ended up on the top of the scoreboard because of just all of the damage I'm able to do, plus with the availability of being able to do objectives very easily, any kind of moving an object, retrieval, devices, those are very, very, very easy for this character, simply because of the movement speed buff whenever you turn invisible and not being harassed while you're getting the objective. Hacking objectives worked really well since you're able to sit there. She can pretty much do anything. She's a good utility character. She has everything at her disposal. She can do everything really good. She can deal damage, do objectives, and just all around support the team. Reviving teammates is another good thing that she can do. So guys, as we get to the end of the video, I want to say real quick that around mid next week, I will be probably doing a video on patch 1.06 and what I think it brings to the table, because on BioWare's official patch notes, they did not really mention any multiplayer changes, but after reading a few articles online, I saw what all they did change, and it is crazy that they did not list it on the patch notes, but I want to share my thoughts on those with you guys, because now I can fight the Ket and Remnant and not be salty about it because they're not as overpowered anymore. So it is all okay, as well as bringing the Turian Agent and X5 Ghost Assault Rifle into the mix. I want to get my thoughts out on those as soon as I unlock them. Also, be ready for our first video on our new series, Rainbow Six Prepare to Laugh Edition. Definitely be ready for that. So guys, here's the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button and share us with your friends. It'll really help us out. And if you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do it, because we're putting videos out every Monday and Friday, as well as a few others to keep you on your toes. So guys, that's all I have for you this time. This has been Mr. J313, and I'll see you on the next one.